Hey, I'm Emma Garlett, and on today's episode of Paint It Black, I want to start with sharing a personal story with you, something that's close to my heart, because it's allowed me to be in the career I am today, and has the power to shape a future for First Nations people in Australia. I'm talking about opportunities for First Nations people, and why working towards reconciliation can only be a good thing. Join me as I paint it black. I remember my admission as a lawyer, hearing my name called out, walking up to the bench in the Supreme Court of Western Australia and signing the roll of practitioners, adding my name to the book which outlines all current and past lawyers in Western Australia. I, Emma Garlett, do swear that I will truly and honestly conduct myself in my practice as a lawyer and as an officer of this honourable court according to the best of my knowledge and ability. So help me God. It was surreal. I felt so proud to be able to represent our people, be a role model for our young people, and prove that with determination and hard work, you can achieve anything you set your mind to. As a law graduate, I was a sponge. I would ask everyone I met a million questions and take their advice. I wanted to learn everything I could all at once and understand why doing what I was doing was important and how it fit into the bigger picture. I was so lucky because I had an amazing boss and mentors who supported my learning journey in law and created opportunities for me to excel. Getting admitted as a lawyer was a watershed moment for my family and community. And to make the admission even more special, I was absolutely delighted that my admission was moved by my friend, another young Nyungar woman lawyer. Indigenous lawyers in Australia are only a relatively new addition to our national story. And when I say new, I mean, the same year the company Apple Computer was founded by Steve Jobs was the same year the first Aboriginal lawyer was admitted to the bar. That was only 47 years ago. The first Aboriginal law graduate and the first barrister in Australia was Pat O'Shane. She completed her law degree in 1975 and was admitted to the bar the following year in 1976. Before that, there were no Aboriginal lawyers. We had no Aboriginal legal representation, and in fact, the laws and policies before this were created to the active detriment of Aboriginal people. Before the addition of Aboriginal lawyers, it was rare that non-Indigenous people would speak out and advocate on our behalf. It was rare that a white person would seek reconciliation and justice for Aboriginal people. I can understand why it would have been hard. It would have been extremely difficult for individuals to go against the social norms at the time and be the person who pushed for equality for a race of people who were seen as savages. It was a time where there was racial segregation. Perth was a prohibited area for Aboriginal people from 1927 to 1954. During this era, Aboriginal people lived under excruciatingly oppressive and draconian restrictions, which were marked as protection. But it was far from protection. Perth had clear boundaries, outlined where Aboriginal people could go and where they were not welcome. If you were Indigenous, it was a requirement to have a permit known as a native pass to enter large areas of Perth. It was an effort to control, restrict and destroy Aboriginal people. It was not covert behaviour, it was clear and overt action in plain sight. Adding salt to the wound, Aboriginal people were also not allowed to socialise with whites, especially at White City, an amusement park which was located on the foreshore of Perth, where the Elizabeth Quay bus station and train station is now located. These facts of our past recent history paints a picture of why reconciliation between Indigenous and non-Indigenous people is important. There would have been no hope for me to be admitted as a lawyer at that time, and when reflecting on my admission as a lawyer, it was only made possible because I was supported and empowered by those around me. At home, at work, at university, in community, both Indigenous and non-Indigenous. It really does take a village. Would I stop to think about my career, the people I've met, and those who I've been able to help? I feel privileged to do whatever I can to help them on their journey. Because their journey is my journey, and when we work together, we are stronger. Amidst all the action done, we need to remember the work of those before us. Our elders paved the way for us. I had the pleasure of speaking to Aboriginal elder Dr. Richard Wally, OAM, about his journey and his reconciliation memoirs.
The word reconciliation is a bit of a challenge because reconciliation is to reconcile where two parties come together and reconcile the differences. I have a problem with the word reconciliation, but I don't have a problem with the concept and what it aims for. We as Aboriginal people, we've been victims and not been perpetrators. It's very difficult for us to come to a conversation and ask for forgiveness. That's the difficult part. But I completely understand where the movement is coming from because it wants to look at the issues, address the issues, put forward the issues in some way, shape or form, and see if we can make a better place and move forward as a community. So I see that, reconciliation as being that vehicle that allows us to come together to have the conversation.
When asked about how non-Indigenous people can start their reconciliation journey, Dr. Wally expressed the importance of relationship building as a priority.
Lots of opportunities to have the conversation. But the other thing is you have to be patient about it. Don't ask 50 questions in the first hour of have a conversation with people. Allow the opportunity for getting to know someone. It's an old cliche, allow to develop a relationship and everything else will follow.
The legal profession in Western Australia has evolved and recognises the importance of reconciliation. I have been invited to speak to staff around Indigenous governance at the Legal Practice Board of Western Australia. This would not have been possible 47 years ago when there were no Aboriginal lawyers. Reconciliation matters. Thanks for watching Paint It Black with me, Emma Garlett. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode.